Hey everybody, so I hope you're having a marvelous day. So I wanted to just do a quick draw type tarot, maybe get some messages in, get the deck shuffled. Not much has been going on, to be honest. I'm working through my issues. I've been kind of going through some energy cleansing, if that makes any sense. So right then and there, this is what came out the deck. So let's get into it. So are these cards in this deck supposed to be for the general collective? And I'm hearing yes. So gratitude, be grateful for what you have, because you were only given one life. And I'm really hearing that for someone. Someone just something like, oh, I want their life. I want this, and that. And I'm really hearing, no, you're given this life for a reason. Whether you like it or not, you have to live it on your life. You can't compare what you're going through to someone else's struggle. And, I'm really hearing, just be thankful that you're living in this moment. You know what I mean? Because it's don't be negative. Don't be wishy-washy. I'm also hearing some of you are just being really wishy-washy, or you're kind of feeling like, oh, I saw what so-and-so had on Instagram or on YouTube, and so now I want it. And it's what do you actually know deep down in your heart you actually need? So this is saying practice gratitude for your life, for everything that you have, this situation. Find the best in it, because it's hard as is if you just make things negative. Some of you just are sore losers and even bigger a-holes when you win. You like to gloat and show off, and you like to be the center of attention. So this is saying accept your defeat and actually accept that there is a lesson for you to have learned. And that lesson is not for the win or the loss, but it's the outcome that which it happened. Meaning the people, do they walk out of your life? Are they just thinking, well, screw this person? Are they actually going to come back? So this is what I'm seeing. Practice gratitude, but practice actually being a better person, not the bigger person, a better person. Because some of you are just oh, I have this, and I have this, so I'm gonna eat off your plate because, I'm the bully, and you're not gonna do anything about it. You're, I want to say some of you, your home life is, absolutely, a nightmare. You just feel everything is just happening. It's constantly negative, and, it may be the circumstance that you find yourself in if you live in an impoverished neighborhood or a town that's like this, that you have this systemic, institutionalized thought of, I can't do this because look at the generations before me, they tore this institution down and replaced it with something worse than what it is. So some of you need to work up the courage to just get out and leave. There's just so much you can be grateful for, but for some of you, it's really clouded your judgment. So then we have the Knight of Wands reversed, and this is saying some of you feel so stagnated, or you're just afraid to go out and explore. So this is saying your anxieties and your fear and your stagnation are on your entire doing. It's not your job. It's not this. It's your attitude, your drive, and determination that is not getting you. So some of you are just afraid. And then we have the Five of Cups, and I just keep hearing, I want more. This person could have offered me more, but in return this person offered someone else exactly what I wanted, and I was begging and pleading for. So now it's I'm pissed off. And on all this, and it's look, there's 3 knocked down, there's 2 up, and yet, are you looking at here? There's a freaking castle or villa or manor in which you gotta cross this bridge and just get over this emotion, because it's dude, Like, live the high life instead of living this life. That's what I see. And it's like, this is new beginnings, new adventure, new hopes, new opportunities. You know, it's like, what can you leave behind? Are you willing to sacrifice your life behind you for a better opportunity? Because this is what I'm saying. Is like, don't let everything like head rush. I'm really hearing head rush. And some of you feel like you're holier than thou. And that would make sense with this 5 of Swords. It's like, you feel holier than thou. Like, you're untouchable. And it's like, nah, you're just going to hang yourself from a rope. But for some of you that don't feel... Some of you that don't feel like that, there is opportunity. It's just like, make the right choice, but make it slowly. Because, like, you will basically block yourself. So it's like really figuring out what you want and you don't need. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, accept the circumstances for what it is. Because sometimes you cannot absolutely change it. Like, it's not that moment to change. Then we have the 7 of Wands. And this is saying, like, through trial and obstacles, things will get done. Because you have to learn through your trials and tribulations for this to happen. So don't rush into it and make, like, this plan when you're not prepared for anything. Because victory does come about, and some of you just, like, seem to get lucky in a non-like, physical way. But you just find yourself in circumstance at the right time, at the right moment. And then there's some of you that just, like, plan, and it never gets off the ground. Or you're impatient and something's happening. So then we have the Knight of Swords, and this is saying, like, yeah, it's all bravery and chivalry and, like, everything that you can possibly ever want. But some of you are just, like, rushing into battle because a lot of you want the glory. You don't actually have what it takes to get the job done. And I'm hearing that. It's like, you're all balls, no brain. So it's like, use your head instead of using your aggression or, you know, your flamboyancy to, like, put yourself out there. Actually have a calculated plan and actually have A, B, C, D through Z. So, like, have this complete plan. Not just one, not just two, but, like, the full, like, alphabet of plans just in case. You know, it was always good to have a contingency plan because the first time you have to fail. And then the second time you keep failing. So what happens if you get to Z and you fail, right? Then you go back to and be like, well, you know what? This is what I did different every time and this didn't work out. So maybe I'll give it one more time. And then boom, you worked all your kinks out and it's a greater reward than all the failures. Like, you know what I mean? So I just really hear, like, all balls, no brain. So then we have the 6 of Pence, and this is saying, like, it's okay to be charitable to an extent. Don't be, like, greedy and you're, like, taking it because it makes you feel good and you just brag about it on the internet because that's one-sided charity because it's making you look good at the expense of someone else. So this is saying, like, your financial situation can improve if you allow it. If you take the steps to allow this to happen, to set up this plan, set up this business, set up your finances. So this is saying, like, sometimes you have to ask instead of making it happen. Because I'm hearing someone is trying to step in to give this to someone. Like, they want to be asked first because they're tired of people expecting things from them. But I'm also hearing, like, for some of you with the 6 of Pence, that some of you just do it because it makes you feel good, but it makes you feel good for the wrong reasons because you're, like, bitching that people come up to you and ask for charity. And yet, be like, oh, I've given my lot for the day. So maybe, like, come back. And yet you're giving it to people that they're beggars, but they don't actually need it. Like, they can basically throw on some dirty street clothes, holies, whatever, and pretend to be like this. So there are people that sit with an open mouth with this And this is saying some of you are actually doing this. And this is hurting you. So some of you are just like looking what other people are doing and you're like trying to mimic that and you're sitting with an open mouth. And I'm hearing some of you like you have someone or you are this person where maybe like a grandparent or an elderly person has, you know, in the process of about to maybe pass away. And that maybe they have a good house or maybe they have like, you know, life insurance that they're leaving, and some of you are just like, oh, you know what, like I took care of you, I demand some of this, or you know, when you needed this going on, like I came rushing over, you know, it's greed. And some of you are just like, I demand these things and I put my foot down, this is me demanding, you know what I mean, you're going to give it to me. And this is saying back up, because that is not okay, because it has to be a mutual thing, and you have to do it for the very right reasons. Because when you get greedy and you start doing this, like, it may take a while, but at the end of the day, like, when this cycle stops and it just was like, okay, you know what, we've got to this point, now it's time for karma to reverse this coin. And some of you are just going to lose it all. You keep continuing, like, you're going to burn bridges so fast that when these bridges are burnt, you're going to be like, well, damn, you know what I mean? And this is saying that you're victimizing yourself because you want sympathy or you want this money. So, I hate to say this, some of you are gold diggers. I'm really getting gold diggers. Like, you're looking out for this payday, but you're not actually willing to go on the street and fill out some applications. So, like, the next person is not going to be your payday. Like, there's not going to be a sucker for that. So then we have the Queen of Cups reversed, and this is saying, like, there's emotional blockages, like, your heart is not in the right place, you're just way too emotional and, like, way too emotionally invested, so you're not actually thinking clearly, you're just all over the place. But this is also saying, like, you're lashing out on people, like, you're projecting your emotions, or someone has projected their emotions upon you, and you've taken them, and, like, you basically empathetically, like, absorbed their, and so it, like, repeats this cycle that you're just projecting on the next person because they projected on you. So, I really feel that, like, your heart is not in the right place with that card. And then we have the Hierophant. So some of you are, like, really, like, deep into your spirituality, but you're not, like, questioning it. You're just like, oh, this is my religion, this is my faith, you know what I mean? You're not actually willing to do this. And, like, with the Knight of Swords and this, I'm hearing some of you are willing to, like, go to war for faith. Like, I'm not joking. I'm really hearing I would go to war for my faith. And this is saying, like, if you feel like you're a soldier of faith, then that's here nor there at this point. This is not my place to judge. But I really feel like in this, some of you are just blindly following. Like, you see the glitz and the glamour, and I'm thinking, hey, I'm doing this, but some of you are blindly following. Like, as you can see, there's two men at this point. These are, like, two monks or two servants, whatever. Or I should say brothers, excuse me. There are two brothers at the bottom of this card, and they're being dictated and told, like, hey, this is what God told me, so you do it. So some of you are just blindly following, like, someone else's orders. And yet you're not questioning it, and you're not seeing what, like, could possibly go wrong, and I see that. So then we have the Two of Pentacles. Now, this is both calling reverse and reverse because of the way I picked it up. But reverse, some of you are just, like, inflexible about something. And some of you are just way too committed about it that you're going through stuff on your own accord. Like, you're not asking for help. So this is saying, like, don't be flexible and don't be overly committed, because, like, when you overcommit to something, you burn yourself out, and you were like, oh, maybe I shouldn't actually have been involved with that project or with that person. So some of you are just like, what? So then we have death. So this is a personal transformation that's happening. Now, I'm going to say this one of two things. Because the Hierophant popped up with the death card, this is not like a full global thing, like say a religious like institution, say like the Pope end up dying or whatever. This is saying like your faith is going to be like tested, and I'm hearing I'm being tested, or I will test you. And so like your faith will be shaken for some of you. Like you'll basically have that like slap in the face to be like, why did I follow this? And then the second thing I want to talk about is, with this card, usually upright or reverse, it says maybe someone's going through personal transformation. Reverse, or you're resisting change. You're resisting the natural order of things. So you're basically a means to an ends that you're resisting. You know what I mean? So some people fear death of anything. They fear this change. And I really feel in this card, there is like a death of faith, if that makes any sense. Like someone's faith is like gonna die. Like you stop. Like you start questioning things. Like this is the saying that, you know, all things lead home. All things lead home. And so I feel like you stop fighting for things that you used to fight for. So I really feel like that's what that is. And it's just like, some of you are just like so ingrained in this ego based, like I don't accept victory because I'm always the one that's doing the victorying and the slaying and things like that. Excuse me. So it's like, because I'm always doing this, it's I. This is saying, no, the death of the ego needs to happen. Now, what I also wanted to talk about is, I believe upright, this talks about a change in the physical versus reverse, not saying it's resisting change, you know, given the circumstance of the cards around it. Reverse would mean like it's an internal emotional purging or death of the ego base emotions, like I did this, you know what I mean? It's just like that no longer serves you. That old self, that old past is no longer there anymore. So I just wanted to say, for some of you, like you're gonna have like a world shattering, like the rug is gonna be pulled out upon you, like it's just gonna be like, what? So we have the King of Cups. Now, automatically, some of you are just fighting for a situation that is not even needed anymore, and this is like the worst enemy you've ever come across. And some of you are like, oh, you know, I'm a bad bee, like I do what I want. This is saying like you'll meet your match, and this person is going to be the worst person you will possibly ever deal with. So I really hear with the Ten of Cups reversed and the Five of Swords that some of you are just in a toxic, and it's just like this relationship has to die off. Like you will see the light come soon enough, and it's a circumstance that no one needs to be in. So we have decisions. Like you're indecisive, you're doing whatever, but it's like you need to make this decision. Like don't do it blindly. Like actually take the blinders off and make this decision, because whatever you do, this decision will spark a response. There is a consequence. There is an action that gets reverberated. So this is saying with the Page of Pentacles, some of you are like, just like, I'm done with this. I need a new heading. Like, I'm going to do this. So if this is the case, some of you are actually forced to physically uproot your life for this person just to be kicked out of the home. I'm really hearing this. So it's like you got to stand on your own 2 feet now. So yeah, I literally, there's a journey, there's a new beginning, and it's like new independence, new confidence, new everything. And it's like, some of you are just super overwhelmed and burdened by the fact that there's just so much choice, but it's like, hey, like some people are going to try to influence you and tell you like, oh, you should do this, this, and that. Like, look at this card. There's a snake, there's a head, there's a dragon, a wreath, a castle, you know, diamonds, things like that. And then you have spirit, right? In the very, like, top middle. And this is saying sometimes spirit is influenced by negative things. So this is saying you specifically are influenced by negative energies as well as positive energies. So it's like this alone is kind of going back to the Hierophant and like the change that is needed for you to start questioning reality, because reality is created. So it's like some of you just like, some of us are just over optimistic, or we're just over egotized. That's what I want to say. Some of us are just so egotized by what is going on and be like, oh, I get the reward, I get this, I'm ecstatic. I'm not seeing the pitfalls that is going on in this life. So then we have the Knight of Cups. And for some of you going through it, I don't know why, but I'm hearing marriage. Can you not? I have a dog that she just, all she wants to do is play. And it's just like, I need to get this done and we can go outside, we can play later. So some of you are just like, there is a new journey, there is a new growth. And it's saying sometimes like, be careful, because I'm really seeing this in the cup. It's like, oh, I'm gonna basically bring this water, right, that says natural spring water, that it's unfiltered, it's clean, you know, and yet you're like, oh, you know, okay, I'm not thinking of it, so I'm gonna bring it back to where I am and maybe like give it to someone and I get a reward from it, right? Sometimes it's saying even the most crystal blue water actually holds a darker secret. So water holds its weight, but water holds energy. Water, both negative and positive. So this is saying if you speak ill of something and, you know, this is coming in, you're holding this weight through this water, this emotion, and it's going to burn you up. So this is saying stop, you need to detoxify your emotional energy fields, because of the fact that your energy actually is very influenced by your emotions and your surrounding. So this is saying like, hey, like instead of looking outside for things, you need to look within yourself, because looking for out things, this is you running. This is a coping mechanism, and I see this in this. So yeah, like you just, addictions, coping mechanisms, listening to the wrong, I'm really hearing peer pressure, but listening to the wrong people. Like, I'm really hearing listening to the wrong people. And these are really pulling and, like, messing with you right now. So, this is very toxic. Some of you are just really toxic in toxic situations. And you have people that, they don't want to see you succeed because they can't succeed. So they're bitter about this success. So if they keep you trapped and imprisoned from your true potential, and you're imprisoning your own self, like, you start hanging with these people and you start becoming this. You start becoming your own personal demon. And this is saying release yourself from these shackles, because you are not meant to be there. You are meant to be something so much greater that it's really needed right now. It honestly is really needed. And it, you know, and this is the saying, like, where there's fire, there's smoke. But sometimes you have to have a fire lit under your ass to actually get you to be like, oh my God, this is hot. Like, I'm being like burnt alive. Like, what am I doing? You know, this is saying sometimes you actually need this like push start to see this shit. So then we have this, and this is saying get rid of it. Just get out. I'm hearing get out. Run. It's like, stop making obstacles for yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Stop making these decisions and being overwhelmed by things. It's just get out and go. You'd be thinking, oh, where am I going to go? Where am I going to do this? Stop. Stop. I know I said make a plan and formulate it because there's a failure, but like some of you just need to get out. And I'm hearing if you got to sleep in your car or in a tent somewhere, do it, because at least you got out. And it's sad to say, but being in that situation, some of you find yourself in this toxic environment, this home life or business or with this partner and dealing with this, like, it's not even going ghost, because I honestly hear banging, like loud banging, like someone's gonna hurt you. And I hear this, I feel I feel anxiety, not afraid, I just feel anxiety, like someone is in like the kitchen, you know, like clinging to the cabinets, you know what I mean? And they'll be like, okay, what weapon do I use? What, you know, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna die today? Like, that's the type of situation. And it's just like, stop being a victim, stop having Stockholm syndrome, like, just stop. So your last card is like, some of you are just perfectly content in being in the situation that you're in, because you'll be like, oh, this person loves me, this person does not love you, they love control. So it's free yourself from these limitations. And I'm seeing that is some of you are just so stuck in it that you don't see what's wrong. You don't see what's harboring like this ill animosity. So it's like you're going to end up drowning yourself for someone who would rather like drown you, if that makes any sense. Like, they would be the one to tie you up and throw you in this river or throw you in the ocean to get rid of you once you start taking back your independence and your power and you got out. I really see like this person honestly would try to drown you, even in a bathtub, like, because of the physical power that they crave. And this is a truly evil individual. I'm really hearing a true evil individual for some of you. So stop fighting. I'm really hearing stop fighting and just get out. And if you struggle, you struggle, but at least you got out knowing the fact that something happened. And I know a lot of family members, like with this person, people are like, oh, this person is so freaking perfect. You know, they don't believe this person would do something like that. It's just like they're enabling this mechanism within this aggression, this fight, because they're like, oh, you know, people are making excuses for this individual. So I feel like some of you that have had a situation like this, or you're going through it, like, this is the reason you cannot turn to family, or you cannot turn to the cops, because I really feel like maybe this person that you're dealing with is not upscale community, but they have connections to bury you and make you look like you're the victim, or they're the victim and you're basically slandering them. Excuse me. I feel that. Do you have any messages for individuals that need to get out of this situation? What is the first step? What is the first message? So you created this situation. You have the power to change it. Thank you for letting me lean on your strength and remind me of my personal power. Please guide me to manifest a healing according to divine will, creating peace and blessings for everyone involved. Lean on God and the angels for support. Dear God and angels, I give you, as is briefly describe your situation. Now I completely, I step out of the way and allow divine miracles to shine through everyone and everything involved. This is a favorable outcome. Thank you for the beautiful outcome to this situation, the perfect and fair for everyone involved. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for helping me have faith. Believe and trust. Before going to bed tonight, say, Archangel Michael, please enter my dreams and replace fear with faith and trust. Let me be fulfilled with strength, courage, and confidence. In the bottom of the deck, it says, detach from the situation. Archangel Michael, I ask you to use your flaming sword to cut any attachment or fear or drama that I may be centered in knowingness that peace is somewhere within me and the situation. New beginnings and a fresh start. My prayer, thank you for being for bringing new opportunities and offering support. For helping me release and heal my past. Fill me with trust and experience of life changes. Do you have any final messages? The Spirit have a final message for anyone that it may be not going through the situation, but they need to hear this message. Do you have a message for those who are involved in this collective group that are not? This is write about your thoughts and your feelings. Thank you for helping me tap into my God-given creativity and wisdom that I express and glean insight, healing, and blessings. I don't know why, but there is another message, and it's not forced. It's just not something that maybe Spirit has to say, but I just kind of feel like, for whatever reason, I feel like something is there, if it makes any sense. It says, you are on the right path. Archangel Michael, I call upon you now. Thank you for giving me a loud and clear guidance that I easily understand. Thank you for motivating me and fulfilling me with the courage and confidence to make healthy life choices. So thank you so much for this reading. Healing energy, protection, love, understanding, comfort, friendship, partnership, anything that you need right now, energy-wise, please do not be afraid to ask the universe for. So peace, love, happiness, comfort, healing, all of that and so much more from the bottom of my, hearts of hearts. I wish all upon this to you.